What's that secret you've kept for years that if someone found out would completely change how they see you? Well, my brother got sick the day of a big interview and asked me to go instead. We're twins, so why not? What we didn't expect was that I'd get the job. Nervously, I accepted. I worked as him for 3 months until a client saw him on the street and congratulated him on his new position. Spoiler, it didn't end well. But I learned corporate life isn't for me, or for him. The cat was unbearable. It scratched me, ignored me, and once peed on my laptop. One day, it slipped out while I was cleaning. Instead of telling the truth, I said someone left the door open. She cried for days. Worst part? The cat came back 2 weeks later and snitched. It hissed at me every time it saw me. She started suspecting. We broke up months later, and yes, the cat was part of the reason. My boss was obsessed with languages. When I said I knew some French, he sent me to a conference in Paris. Spoiler, all I knew was bonjour and croissant. I memorized the presentation phonetically like a song. It worked until someone asked a question. I smiled and nervously said, oui, oui. A translator saved me, thinking I was just shy. I never bragged about languages again. She was classy, knew her wines, and I knew juice, but I faked it. I ordered the most expensive wine and said things like, it has notes of oak and nostalgia. She looked fascinated. Everything was fine until the waiter asked if I wanted it decanted. I said, sure, with ice, please. She laughed. A lot. Turns out she was faking, too. We got married 3 years later. I didn't want to go to the meeting. I hid in the bathroom with my laptop and faked being sick. But the lock broke. I was stuck for 2 hours. Worst part? My boss came in and heard me talking to myself, rehearsing excuses. When I finally got out, he said, hope your chat with the toilet was productive. I've never skipped a meeting since, though I've wanted to. After graduating, I couldn't find a job. So I told my family I worked in digital marketing. In reality, I edited memes for a humor page. It paid little, but I loved it. One day, my uncle saw one of my memes on Facebook and said, this was made by someone with no future. I just nodded. Years later, that page went viral and now I run an agency. Still haven't told them the truth. I was driving in a foreign country, clueless about the rules. The police stopped me. I pretended not to speak the language, looked confused, and said, I'm tourist, no understand. The officer sighed, gave me a warning, and let me go. Awkward part? As I left, I ran into a high school friend who greeted me in perfect Spanish. The cop heard. I got fined anyway. But hey, I tried. My friend jokingly introduced me as a real chef at a party. Someone believed it. They asked me to cook something quick and gourmet. I panicked. I made pasta with whatever was around, cream cheese and fries. I called it Urban Fusion. They loved it, asked for recipes. I made up names like Nostalgia Foam and Sunday Sauce. Now I'm the official party chef. Even though I only know how to make sandwiches. It started with a girl. She was vegan and activist, and I loved bacon, but I faked it. For months, I ate salads in front of her and learned phrases like, the meat industry is cruel. Secretly, every time I went running, I hit up a burger truck. One day, she saw BBQ sauce on my shirt. I said it was organic ketchup. She didn't buy it. We broke up. Lesson learned, love isn't built on salads. Or lies. My girlfriend signed me up for a salsa contest because I was amazing on the dance floor. She said that based on one wedding, after 3 beers. I trained with tutorials, but on contest day, I froze. So I improvised. Zumba moves mixed with breakdance. The crowd thought it was comedy. We won in the humorous dance category. She still thinks it was part of the plan. I wanted to impress. I said I had a podcast about leadership. My boss got excited, asked for the link. I made excuses. Then he asked to be a guest. So I recorded it in my kitchen, on my phone. I asked generic questions like, how do you define success? And pretended I had an audience. Worst part? He shared it on LinkedIn. People messaged me asking for more episodes. Now I have a real podcast. Thanks to a lie. It started as a joke. I said I could read birth charts. At my cousin's wedding, someone overheard and asked for a reading. I improvised. Your moon is in chaos, but your sun shines bright. People lined up. I invented compatibilities, predictions, even rituals.
awkward part?
One couple broke off their engagement based on what I said. They still message me for consultations. I just wanted cake. At a party, someone left a guitar. I picked it up and pretended to tune it. Said I could play. They asked for a song. I panicked. Played 3 random chords and sang Wonderwall nervously. Someone yelled, "Such an alternative style!" I got applause. Worst part? They invited me to play at another party. I had to learn guitar in 2 weeks. Now I can play. But I still don't know how it all started. At my new job, everyone said I was the Excel genius. Why? Because I used one basic formula and someone clapped. I let it slide. Until they asked me to teach an internal class. I spent 3 nights watching tutorials and practicing like it was finals. On class day, my hands were shaking. Worst part? Someone asked about macros. I said, we'll cover that in the advanced module. There was no module. But I survived. Fit, my partner, was obsessed. I'd never read the books, but I faked it. Learned names, houses, and phrases like Expelliarmus. Everything was fine until we went to a themed trivia night. I had to answer, what's Voldemort's full name? I said, Thomas Riddle. They stared. We lost. She got suspicious. I confessed. Now I'm reading the books. Willingly. And yes, it's Tom Marvolo Riddle. In a meeting, I said I was an amateur film critic. They invited me to present a movie at a local theater. I got nervous. Wrote a speech with phrases like, the cinematography dialogues with the narrative. Awkward part? The movie was a ridiculous comedy about karate. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, because here, we don't just tell stories. We live them with you. Every week, we drop new confessions, awkward moments, and secrets no one dared to share. And if you've got one of your own, the comments are your safe space. See you in the next video, and remember, what you don't talk about tends to repeat itself.